What is up? What is up? Today we are back at it. 1 second, let me make some adjustments. We got a fire stream today. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Today is February 5th, 2024. And yo, we got a lot to talk about, man. Crypto has a nice little pump coming up this morning, but over the weekends, it's a lot of this economy stuff that is really starting to show itself as we continue on with this fiasco, man. These characters of what I call it, they are doing their job, which is to try to do their best to act like nothing's wrong. But we all know that this is a spiraling system. The debt economy that we live in only is going to go one way. It's going to make life harder for everybody, but at the same time, it means more money is being printed. But that's great because if you own assets, you are the beneficiaries of this. So incredible topic for today. Do not miss this bull run, y'all. Like, please don't. Like, if you're watching this stream, at least somebody's letting you know. I'm sure you probably maybe heard of it, but I am confirming there will be a bull run. And so it's very simple mathematics, really. And so I'm going to kind of lay that out today. And I'm hoping that y'all's bags are packed. I know mine are. But with that being said, appreciate y'all for coming through. Who we got in the chat? What it do? What it do? Yes. We got some great feedback thus far. And I'm hoping that you guys are liking the new stream setup thus far. I think this is going to work out a lot better. We should be very smooth as I'm getting to know this new system. Definitely bear with me, but I'm liking what I'm seeing thus far, and I'm hoping you guys are too. So it's going to be all quality here. You know, that's what I'm always shooting for, just straight up quality. But what y'all got in the chat? How are y'all feeling? BTC sitting at like 43,000 and some change. I've been saying this for a long time, for the last couple of weeks. We'll just kind of sit here, chop, and we're kind of staying in a range of about $5,000, give or take, going down to like 40 to 45. So kind of playing within that frame. But one thing that we're seeing a lot of volatility from stocks. Like, I was looking yesterday, it's so crazy. With the earnings from last week, so Amazon, Meta, stuff like that. Meta had a 20% candle in one day. Like, that's a crypto type candle from a stock. Amazon, killing it. Nvidia, killing it. So we'll look at some of that stuff today. We'll look at some of these companies in the stock market. But that is just such a bullish sign. The bullish sign of letting us know that if stocks are already going exponential, and for stocks, 20% Chad candle, that's pretty exponential. That means, guess what? It's going to be around the corner for crypto. So this is a great development. If you are not accumulating, or if you're like on the fence about it, definitely do not waste this time. There's a lot of data that especially when it comes to looking at the halving cycles, that typically the 120 days prior to the halving cycle is going to be one of the most advantageous, most asymmetric risk type scenarios, where the asymmetrical return that you'll get from the upside perspective compared to low side risk volatility, it's at like a cream of the crop type situation. So it's just like, as we are leading into this halving, this is the time, y'all. Like, literally, this is the time. I'm not shilling a coin. I'm just letting you know, hey, you need to be allocated to a market that can give you the type of returns that could feed your family, not for today, but for tomorrow and the next year and the next year and the next year. Hey, maybe you can go on that vacation that you've been waiting for your whole life. There's a lot of opportunity, but you got to place your seeds now. That way your tree can grow and you can bear the fruit. So let's get into it. We got a lot of conversation here. Let's see what we got. KK. Nice to hear someone say there will be a bull run because the past couple of years have dragged us so slow. Yeah, no, 100%. I agree. And that's just the thing, at the end of the day, We have to understand that these things are an emotional roller coaster. I mean, I remember, if you guys want to look up some of the streams I did, I titled one, "Do you feel the change of the tides?" That was, I want to say, kind of like late 2022 going into 2023. But there was a change in the tides of 2023, and now the waves are starting to come. But then we're waiting for the tsunami in 2025. And so this is a beautiful thing that we get to experience here in Cryptoline. Let me see another one from, we got, okay, I see. So I'm going to let my family and friends know what's coming with crypto. One last time, would you go about convincing your loved ones or friends? To be honest, um, like when it comes to letting people know about crypto, I've done a lot over the past, 3 years especially. It was much easier to talk to them about this stuff in the bull run. So, like for example, October, November, December of 2021, basically the tip top, that's when everybody's ears were open. I was able to kind of onboard a few people probably about 4 to 6 months before that. And so I'm really trying to at least do that. For the people that I know that aren't in yet, typically it's kind of like once they get like 3 or 4 confirmations, like, okay, it's safe. Other people are doing it, not just like my one family member telling me, then they'll be willing to do a little investing. So I think that sweet spot is really like once that hockey stick moment, after like we get like 2 crazy months, you got to be like, hey, like over this next month or so, this is what you got to do. It'd still be an okay time, but them getting a 50x and a 30x, that's probably out of the window. They might be able to get a 2x or a 3x or even like a 5x out of something, and then be able to get some decent profits off of that because they'll be at that higher risk premium. And so I don't want to try to protect them a little bit. So that'll be a good scenario for someone that's new, being able to get a 3x to a 5x within a standpoint of 6 months, 8 months within crypto. But then again, they're gonna be like, oh, let me add more, and you have to be the person to tell them, no, 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 you gotta wait. And then so do that next bear market, and then things will be looking good for you. So kind of have that conversation if you can, but at the same time, don't spend your every last thing, like waking second, trying to convince them about something that's good for them. Either they have the feeling and they'll go with it, or they're not, and so they'll just have to be on the sidelines. So it is what it is. And I agree. Like a 2x for someone that's not in crypto is that's great for them under that time frame. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see what the developments look like. I'm excited to kind of go through it and just be able to really, just like I said, be able to get people to understand, because a lot of people talk about buying stuff, but what helps you stay in crypto is the understanding. And so that's kind of what I want to do. So for sure, definitely. And y'all keep coming to the streams. Subscribe if you haven't. Check out the channel. Continue to comment as we go through the stream. We got to get the engagement up because, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, like this information needs to get out. The only way it's gonna get out to a plethora of people. I'm doing my part. I need you guys to continue to do your part and do everything you can, and we're gonna work together to get this done. So, with that being said, let's get into it. There's a lot of things I want to look at and talk about, and so let's go ahead and jump on in. So, boom. Let me kind of bring my little icon, my little buddy, up, and then let's go. So we got some things that not really concerning. They are, how do I call it? They are very much a revelation if you learn to know what you're looking at. So what we have here, we have the debt clock. So this is going to give us basically, I mean, all the information that we need to really understand in terms of like, okay, how are things really? Like truthfully, like how are things really? And one thing that I'll say is, it's how do I say? It's an avalanche basically. At some point, things will crumble, but you as an investor, you've got to be able to keep it together and say, hey, how can I benefit from a deteriorating monetary policy and fiscal policy from the government that is basically in charge of most of the dollars in the world? And so, with that being said, what we can see here, we have the U.S. national debt, $34 trillion. Now, the biggest thing to understand is the United States does not have $34 trillion to pay off a debt. And it's kind of crazy. It's just like the fact that they want us to always pay off all our debts. And if we don't, they make our life harder. Right? Or if we're late on something, we got this credit score. Oh, okay, no, we're not. We're not going to let you use this system as much. But they can just sit on their debt, sit on it, just make more, spend it on all kind of stuff. And then at the end of the day, just create more money and be like, well, whatever. Yeah, we'll use this to pay that off. We can't create new money as citizens. It's like, it's crazy. So if they can't even manage their own finance, how do they expect for us to? Well, we've got to be better than them. So with that being said, this national debt's kind of crazy. Now, the biggest thing is to understand what, when it comes to fiscal spending, this is the topic of saying, hey, the United States, the fiscal side of it, they have to spend money to take care of things. And so with that being said, a lot of it is based upon them spending on Medicare. These are the baby boomers. This is a cohort of people. If you look at the demographics, this is a cohort of people who essentially, a lot of them are now exiting the workforce, meaning now they're getting the benefits, but they can't quite produce what they maybe once would be able to produce a long time ago. And so that's something to consider. Social Security, same thing. But the other big one is defense spending. Like, we are spending money on trying to protect ourselves. Hey, it is what it is, right? But here's the crazy part. The savings per family, which I don't even believe this, on average is $11,000. You know how crazy this is? Like, this lets me know that it ain't looking good, because one thing that this will probably do through time is keep going down and down and down and down. And the crazy part even more is the credit card debt. $1.3 trillion in just credit card debt, 1.7 in student loan debt. Now, these are large, these are the ones that affect the actual people, like the actual people that live in the United States the most. These right here. Now, with that being said, they've got several multitudes higher amount of debt that, like I said, they just wash away by creating new money. But yet we're still left with trying to figure this out. So one thing to understand is another concept, the U.S. gross domestic product, where same thing. We're not producing as much as what our debt is. So that means there's a net balance. That net balance typically is going to have to be figured out. And that's what the issue is. They can't even afford the net balance. And so the key thing is this. When they do, like, for example, this year, they've already created new money. And it's going to keep going. I'm going to show you on the M2 money supply. But we've got to understand that when they continue to just do this, right, it's making it hard for the everyday person. But with interest rates being higher now as they take on this new debt, that means the interest expense is higher too. So it adds another layer. So what does this mean? The debasement is going to increase faster. So that's a good thing, or it can be a bad thing if you don't know how to look at it. The key is, because literally we're just at $32 trillion like a few months ago, like it seemed like 5-6 months ago. $2 trillion just added like that. I was watching an interview last night. Jerome Powell literally states, this is unsustainable, right? Like, ain't no way we can keep doing this fiscal spending. We'll show that clip. But at the end of the day, the biggest thing is to realize that this is going to be great for assets. That's when you can kind of smile if you own them, because they're going to be the beneficiary of all this new debt creation, all this new money creation. Let me show you guys this, right? We can look at stuff like this. Meta, Facebook. Like, we're talking about Facebook. And their platform has a lot of users. And that's what it's all about, user adoption. Chad Candle, 20% Chad Candle. Let's put this on the daily. 20% Chad Candle. It's kind of impressive. I'm not going to lie. Very impressive. But like, you see that gap up, 20% Chad Candle. That's not bad. That's looking like crypto numbers, 20%. Chad Candle. We are seeing things like NVIDIA killing it still. Like, look at this. NVIDIA, since 2019, you're on a 15x from a stock and still way past its previous all-time high. Like, so in comparison, Bitcoin is like still like right around here in its chart pattern, getting towards all-time high. NVIDIA is out past it. That lets me know, hey, crypto's on the way. It's brewing up. The shotgun is getting loaded. Amazon, same thing. Really, really, really good recovery off of its earnings, right? And so really big week last week. So the arbitrage I always talk about is when stocks are killing it and crypto's not, guess what? That's actually a time to be very bullish. And so this is an incredible thing to see. Like, I'm really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying the fact that we have an opportunity for something like this. So stocks are killing it, all-time highs. You know, S&P 500, same thing, past all-time high. Let's go through and watch a couple videos that I think are pretty funny. So this is kind of, you know, what we have going on with the dollar. Let me restart this. Let me know if y'all can hear this. Even gold killing the dollar now through a long time kill. All right, Tether coming to play. Let's go. More value, man. Just more value. All of these networks, all of these things provide more value, and that's the key. That's the gist. All right, so here is Jerome Powell himself. Like, check this out, y'all. Jerome Powell himself. We are on an unsustainable path. The debt is growing faster than the economy. We're borrowing for future generations. He said this out of his own mouth. Like, the future generations, we're just going to take from them since we don't want to take from ourselves. Let me, here, I actually want to go back on the full screen for this statement here. So, for this statement here, and let me adjust some of this lighting. It's getting a little bright in here. 1 second, y'all. All right. So, one thing I want to say. Let me see if I can get this lighting right. It's getting a little, yeah. Let's turn it down. There we go. All right. So I think we should be straight. All right, we're back. So, one thing that I want to say is this. We have to be so vigilant to see that they're going to tell us this stuff right in front of our faces. And if we do nothing, that's what the problem is. It's not them, it's us, because they're telling us what they're doing. Like that's first and foremost. And so here's the thing. If you watch stuff like this and you're like, whoa, it's just you are saying, hey, I'm choosing to be ignorant to the fact. Like, the facts of the matter is they are not going to stop. Like, the projection is $144 trillion of debt over the next 30 years. So that's like the next working lifetime. Now, the key thing is that what we all have to remember is who are the people in charge? So who are the people that are in the governing bodies? Who are the people that are making these rules, or I guess you can say trying to keep these rules? These people are baby boomers. These are older generation type people. Now, one thing you got to understand is that they're going to protect themselves before anybody. Like, think about it. If you're in power, you're going to protect your home. You're going to protect yourself. So the baby boomers right now, they're protecting themselves at the expense of us currently and those that are older. Younger. So the biggest thing is this. You got to understand how is most of the baby boomers, how much of their wealth is, stored up in certain places. Most of their wealth is stored up in stocks, believe it or not. So the reason why the stock market, guess what? The reason why it's going to keep doing good, because where is their wealth stored? They're going to protect their wealth. So they're not going to, trust me, they're not going to allow a great financial crisis. Because at this age, think about it. Like at this age, they're like 70, 80. Imagine their value. They're like, man, we got to live off this. Imagine that getting halved. So with any correction, sure. But you got to understand the people in power, that's another topic to really think about. Okay, cool. Flash crash like COVID. All right, cool. But something sustained of like 2 years of just straight bear in the stock market, that's becoming less and less of a risk the older and older the baby boomers get. So I'm hoping that we can see that. Very, very important topic. So let's jump back into the information, and y'all can see this video here with Jerome Powell. So Jerome Powell, let's see what he has to say. Let me jump off the screen.
Try very hard not to comment on fiscal policy and instruct Congress on how to do their job when actually they have oversight over us.
But is the national debt a danger to the economy, in your view?
In the long run, the U.S. is on an unsustainable fiscal path. The U.S. federal government's on an unsustainable fiscal path, and that just means that the debt is growing faster than the economy.
I have the sense this worries you very much.
Over the long run, of course it does. We're borrowing from future generations. It's time for us to get back to putting a priority on fiscal sustainability.
How do you assess the...
Yeah, most people would say that's crazy. They are in charge of making sure that things are balanced, trying to at least be fair. But he's just saying, no, we're not going to be fair. We're just going to borrow from those that are coming from us later. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the crazy things that they're saying, and we just allow it. And I agree. Like, yes, this is very disgusting, very disgusting. But the thing is this, you can position yourself to, like I said, not have to be the person that gets killed by this scenario. And so this is something that I think that we all can prepare for. Like, some people are saying, hey, it's going to hit 144 trillion in another 10 years. I don't know about that, but at this rate, who knows, man? But here's the part where you can start to get a little excited. We have a nice pivot and a nice turn higher in the US M2 money supply. So they were essentially saying, hey, we're going to run off the balance sheet, because, we can look at the money supply and then the Fed balance sheet. But the money supply is going to be a little bit better of a leading indicator about new money creation here specifically in the United States, minus a couple of other things. But this is a good proxy. So the thing is this. If we zoom in on a monthly time scale, and I love using the MACD here at the bottom because we can see, all right, cool. They took money out of supply for a period of time. And then they decide in April, it's getting a little rough. They went ahead and put a few billy back into the circulation. Then they took some out. But now we're starting to curve back up. These MACD candles are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Each month, we're getting closer and closer and closer to crazy money. Literally crazy money creation. And this is like the gist that we all just got to really wrap our heads around, truthfully. So I'm counting like, if we stay at this angle, things are going to get real frosty here towards, like the late end of late end of 2024. But when this thing pops back on the green side, expect just raw excitement, because by then crypto will be like really rocking and rolling. And so money creation is on the way. My guess is like, they gotta at least make another trillion. And then so of actual real dollars, right? Now, how much of that can make it into crypto? Hey, if we can even get 100 billion from that, 50 billion of actual real dollars, oh man, that's great. Of real money. Because that's going to be a 10x multiplier on a lot of these market caps here, at least. And so that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I'm so looking forward to that. And so keep this in mind. Everyone, I've said it many times, y'all know what to do. Y'all really do. But now taking action, especially while Bitcoin is going sideways, because that is key. Sideways to down in a bull, use it as a gift. Let's look at BTC. So, and I'm going to do this in a couple ways. We'll look at the monthly chart. This is very reminiscent of the typical bull type move. Yeah, you're going to have some slow months. That's fine. But use them to your advantage. Use them to your advantage, because here's the thing. The slower months are the opportunity to where you can say, okay, cool, whatever I don't have a whole lot of, let me try to round out those positions. Let me just fill it up with just a couple $100 more or a couple $1,000 more, whatever is reasonable for you. But on a long-term time scale, let's look at this on a yearly basis. So, and this will just let you know. When you play the long game, literally, you just play the long game. This is why investing is so powerful. This is the best way to look at assets, in my opinion. Like, looking at them on a yearly time scale. So you ask yourself, am I hustling backwards or am I hustling forwards? You're hustling forwards if you have a green candle. So you're telling me green, 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 a little baby red. Green, 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 red. Green, 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 red, green. Now we're starting to get to this other green one here for the rest of this year. And so you're literally just like, if you just do simple math, y'all, like, it's going back to 2009, but just for simple math, this is asymmetrical to the upside. And the thing is, these green ones surpass, as far as length and height, way more than what we're experiencing in terms of downside action on these red candles. So that's the key. And so, other coins are like right here, like they're just in their beginning, first few years, first 3 or 4 years going into the second cycle. Some of them are just about to experience something like this. Maybe that might be post-chain. We'll see. Like its first real year of price growth. But this is the opportunity that you can have. And the key is like, stick here for a couple cycles and you'll do swimmingly well. I mean, this number is so big, I don't even want to read it. And so this is how you preserve your wealth. This is how you beat the system. Like, it's literally, you have to see this stuff as a game, y'all, truthfully. Like, this stuff is a game. If you're not winning, you're losing. There is no in between. Like, I don't know how to say it. There's no in between. And I'm just going to be honest, for the average person now, crypto is really like the last hope, truthfully. Because unless you acquire some super high value, high dollar skill over the next like 5 or 10 years, and for us that are kind of like, look, man, I already did all my sweat and I've already did all of my time of trying to learn new stuff or create value for myself, man, I'm tired, man. Can I just invest in something? That's what a lot of people, that's what they can do with crypto, but it's just like being able to, I think you should do both. Keep creating skills in the natural, but also, allow something that can catapult you past all of these issues. Like, y'all don't understand. Like, I don't think money solves everything, but just being able to be comfortable, that peace of mind, there's nothing like it on this earth. Not having to worry about how you're going to pay for stuff on a daily or weekly basis is the best feeling. And so like I always say, identifying what can get you that. This is what it's all about. Let's look at something else. Like, I mean, we can look at Ethereum on its yearly chart. Same thing. Beautiful. It's going to keep making its way. Let's look at something like Solana. I'm going to just scroll through just a few. So Solana, right? It's just getting started. Just getting started. And so the gist is this. Take the time to have some accountability for yourself and say, hey, look, I'm going to take this serious. I mean, obviously, the weekly chart is very helpful to look at as well, and the monthly. But as we can see, Solana is like, all right, cool, ready. Like, this reminds me. So, and because here's the thing, consolidation is consolidation. In a bull run, consolidation is not as long as the bear run consolidation. So a lot of the time, like, because you may feel like, ah, man, we're about to be super boring for the next, like, this bearish consolidation. So from January 2023 to September, that's 10 months of consolidation. We've had, we're talking of true consolidation for Solana. Maybe like almost going on a month and a half. So don't expect 10 months of consolidation, but maybe 2 months or even 3. But these are the opportunities, because just like how we had consolidation here, there's consolidation here during a bullish phase. These timelines seem to be shorter. So instead of having to wait, 10 months in between pumps, we're waiting 2 or 3 months within pumps. And same thing, you take advantage from consolidation to consolidation, right? Boom to boom. There's where you get those 15x in the bull. And so, yeah, we may have some times of chop, but this is like, I can't say it any more clearly or louder. Like, this is where the opportunity is in the chop. If we get some downside action, cool, even better opportunity. But y'all got to take action. Like, y'all got to do what you got to do. One thing that's very interesting, and I'll kind of come over here. Chainlink is kind of shown to be something to kind of use as somewhat of a proxy. It seems like the Oracle play seems to be the one that is on the top of everyone's mind initially, as far as what they're trying to get in the trade. And so here, let me see if I can pull myself back up. So, Chainlink is at $19. And the interesting thing is now we see Chainlink starting to break past its consolidation range. So consolidating here at about like $16, and now it's breaking past. And even starting today, this week, it's really trying to spread, really getting towards those all-time highs. And Bitcoin isn't quite past that phase of getting past this consolidation phase. For that to happen, we have to go above 49K. So another great sign. We got stocks leading. We've got, a couple cryptocurrency coins that are leading. But once Bitcoin makes that move, then Ethereum will make that move. And once Ethereum makes that move, then all the alts will be ready to go. So, because that's what I know that we all have primarily. Most of us have a good amount of altcoins. And so let's look at Total One. Total One. The whole shebang. All of crypto. And here's something cool. So we have a rainbow chart trajectory here, which, the biggest thing to understand is, yes, you will face resistance. We came and tapped that 0.5, like that 50%, right smack dab. Now, through the years, what we got to do is continue to monitor how well things like this continue to shape up. Same thing with this situation here. How bear market, we came straight up to that 50% and stalled out, recovered, and then we broke past it. But here's the cool thing about this. Even if, because, we broke up through the 618, 786, and obviously we got these two pivot points to line up very good with, one hole. So the biggest thing here is, even if we don't even need to get back up to the top standard deviation or the top Fibonacci level, even if we go here in blue at any point in time in 2025, heck, I'll even be a little bearish. Even if we go somewhere here in like this teal color, right? That's still from here. If you're holding alts, that's still 5x. That's still 10x. Post chain, that might be a nice 40, 50x. For things that are newer, say that might be that 40, 50x. And all we've got to do is really just get back to a valuation in between 3.5 and 5 trillion bucks. That's not that hard to do, y'all. That's not, trust me. Now, and understand that it only maybe takes of actual real capital, maybe like a few $100 billion for this to happen to market cap. You don't need the full $1 trillion to actually land and hit for the market cap to be worth several $1 trillion more. It's not how that math works. You need just billions for the market caps to do trillions. So, this is a golden opportunity as we continue to trek higher, because as you can see, anytime in any bullish phase, and this one was an elongated phase simply because this bearish phase in a bull run was elongated. One, because yes, there was some economic things that are happening, but at the same time, look how quickly we sprinted and got to this 50% retracement. We did that much more gradually this time. So just like, for example, how a wave goes in fast, it's got to come down fast. This wave goes up pretty fast, and then we'll consolidate. This wave goes a little bit slower, we'll consolidate slower. And not so deep, because we didn't go up so fast. It's not going to be so much of a deep retracement. That's something to realize. What new capital creation looks like, and when it comes very fast, because they have to do it at certain times, because they have to pay debt off at certain times. That's what that looks like. And then so as we continue on this trajectory, the hockey stick moment is on the way. I'm going to keep talking about the hockey. I'm just going to find a hockey stick and just put it up on every chart, just letting us know hey, we're going to follow this pattern pretty soon. And then I might overlay the hockey stick on the chart and be this actually is almost exact. We'll see on how close it'll get. But the hockey stick moment looks like this. We've seen it time, and time again. Not just crypto, but everything. Real estate, stocks, everything. So one thing that we can also do to help us get a soft projection is we can do the fib extension from top to bottom. And like I said, we're talking about something modest. Something modest can get us to just the 1.6 fib level. That's 4.5 trillion bucks. That's modest. So that's a 3x on total valuation of the total crypto market cap. But here's the key. Some things within the total market cap would do much, much more than 3x, because the market caps on those individual coins are much smaller. So you're going to be the beneficiary if you're just here. And that's the key. So we'll see. We'll see. I think there's a good chance, that we continue to just do what assets continue to do. As I mentioned on stream before, 87% of the time, stocks are going up. So guess what? That leans also into crypto. It may not be the exact 8, but even something that's more than 60% is really, really good, because you're getting more significant upside than downside over the long duration of time. So, and I would say the correlation is pretty good. Let's see what the correlation is currently, now that I'm thinking about it. So let's look at the NASDAQ. And we'll see here. And we'll see what the correlation is with the NASDAQ and Bitcoin currently. So let's find it. We can go here. Correlation coefficient. Let's see with BTC. And as you can see, because here's the thing, if we were to put this like on a 12-month time frame, or is it going to give us the data for 12 months? About 3 months at a time. So if we look out on the net standpoint, because it's going to catch BTC in terms of how much it's been correlated with BTC from about 2016 is what it's catching. If y'all can kind of look and see, it's currently at 84%, but it spends time being between 70 and 80. Let's see if we can get a little bit more tighter. It spends time in between correlation of just right below 70 and 90. So 70 to 90% correlation. That's very high on a long-term time scale. And so that's why I'm saying, okay, since the beginning of Bitcoin, it's had this correlation. I'm sure if we were to get, 2009 and therefore we'd be able to see, even more data. But just from that sample set, high correlation to something that's done nothing but just do this from the 80s. Right? Just from the 80s. And so we just got done with these bearish type dips. This one was pretty big. This is a .com bubble for the NASDAQ. But that's just, hey, a small period of time where it's going down. This, in the grand scheme of things, is small. 2 years, 3 years. What is this? From 2000, April 2000 to July of 2002. So you're talking 2 years of a little dumpy dump. You got a year and a half, a little dumpy dump. But outside of that, it's just fun for the ride. People who are participating, hey, we had a year, almost a year of dumpy dump. 30-some% for the NASDAQ. But guess what? After these capitulations in stocks, they're going to just rock and roll. Yeah, we may have some months of, mismatchy, what's going on, a little bit of red. But the net is, hey, this thing moving forward. Because guess what? The boomers got their wealth stored up in this and the S&P 500. They're not going to let it get cracked while they're still alive, y'all. So something to think about, something to remember. Because it's like investing is like, there's a human side of it too, That's something that we all got to remember and think about. In other news, one thing that I thought that was pretty interesting. So Visa is basically going to enable crypto withdrawals on debit cards in 145 countries. This is actually pretty cool because they have partnered with MetaMask. So instead of having that next or that last step of saying, hey, you know what, I got to take my coins, sell them on the DEX, get my stable coin, send the stable coin to Kraken or Coinbase or whatever exchange, you can just say, all right, cool, I got these coins. Hey, I want to get my fiat. If you do want to cash out, boom, you can just do it there. And so it takes away some of the risk of sending your coins to the wrong place. Now they'll probably hit you with a little bit bigger fee. That's my guess. But this is pretty cool to see. So here's the thing. As we can see, the new integration allows users to withdraw cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin directly from a wallet like MetaMask to a Visa debit card. So this is going to make them more popular. Here's the thing. Wink, wink. Anything that attaches to Bitcoin for the long haul probably is going to do pretty decent too. Visa, they've already been doing good as a stock. If you're a stock guy or gal, Visa might be something you want to look at. But so available immediately. This integration enables one to exchange crypto to fiat and pay basically 130 million merchant locations where Visa is accepted. So that's pretty good, man. And so here's the thing. By enabling real-time card withdrawals through Visa Direct, Transact, and so this is the company that they're partnering, is delivering a faster, simpler, and more connected experience for its users, making it easier to convert crypto balances into fiat. So ease of use is now starting to continue to bubble up within crypto. Stuff is a little bit easier. It's not so complicated. This is a good thing. to onboard more people, to make things easier in financial terms for people. So I'm liking what I'm seeing here. So pretty good development. Funny thing about this clock, guess what? It's going to keep on going. Higher, higher. These numbers will never go down. We can look at this thing 5 years from now. Much higher numbers. Like time machine. Like let's definitely hit the time machine and go back to 2016. What does that do? So that's 8 years ago. Literally in 8 years, we've gotten $14 trillion. We've almost doubled the national debt in 8 years. Doubled. Close to it. In 10 years, yeah, we'll probably double it. We'll be at 40. No doubt in 2026. So that's just letting you know, every decade, this thing is getting real. Every decade it's getting harder. I don't even know if I want to go back any farther than this. Like, do we want to go back 2000? Like, oh gosh, 24 years ago, that's crazy. $5 trillion. It's nuts. And the interest on the debt was small. I mean, we're talking about $220 billion. Now the interest is much larger. So, serious issue, y'all. Like, for real. Serious issue. So, with that being said, let's see what y'all got to say. Panic. Oh, no. No, just literally just buy assets and you'll be fine. That's literally the resolution here. Yeah, 100% I agree. I'm super thankful for the opportunity that crypto gives to the common folk. Because back in the day, to really get the good stuff, you'd have to be able to call your bro. Like, because think about like in the 80s and stuff like that, you'd have to be someone that is very well connected to be able to get anything that's going to be beneficial for you. Not so much now. So we're sitting in a good spot. And this is true. So plus the decline of the population and the replacement rate, less people being bored. Exactly. That means less people can actually contribute to the GDP. So, it's we're not in a great scenario with that. But like I said, I'm talking about as a country. You can be in an amazing scenario if you just invest, right? And you don't have to worry about, hey, what happens because of other people. You can control your financial future. That's the key. And this is true. Like for some people, like, cause I do know some people that are older, like my parents are older. Like that's my mission. Like after I had retired from football, my mission was like, I want to help the people that I love retire to. And like forever, like, and so, I don't want to see anybody like 70, 80 years old still doing a full-time job like that. To me, that's nuts. But some people have to do that. Their only chance may be crypto, to be truthful and to be honest, Yes, sir. Listening on the shadow account for sure. Appreciate it. Appreciate that. Panic. Yeah, everybody's panic. Skedaddle. That's the thing about understanding markets. While everybody, like the average common person is panicking. So that was like 2022. The real savvy people, what were we doing? Go check the streams. We were investing. And like I said it, we could have a 30% reduction on the NASDAQ. And people that invested from like, July of 2020, let me see. Yeah, like July of 2022 to like the beginning of 2023, like during that 7 months, they'd still be protected. Their cost basis wouldn't be hit because things have expanded so far up already since then. Making new highs for the NASDAQ, making new highs for the S&P 500. Bitcoin is on the way as well. As long as they have more debt creation, more money creation, it's going to find its way to assets. And we've seen that, all of 2023 and the beginning of 2024. So it's like people shouldn't have any questions about this no more. Like it's just right in front of us. Like Jerome Powell saying, this is unsustainable. They have to keep doing that. And it's just like, oh, well, we've got to reckon with this. Like, no, they're not going to reckon with it. They're not going to just deal with it. Be like, well, we got to start doing the right thing. Why would they? They're not going to. If they haven't been doing the right thing for forever, what would make them change? Nothing. Because people, a lot of times in power, do not change. They won't. So here's an interesting topic. Yes. So there was a hack, a beat hack on Pulse. Some people are like, hey, let's just throw a lotto ticket and get 20, $50 of it up. You know what? Hey, if you want to play the game, sure. I tend to like to spend my time on the stuff that I know I can just hold forever or hold for long durations of time. And I literally consider that like, yeah, it could be a nice, little come up, but I don't look for come ups. Like, because it's like, oh, will you get your $50 in here, get a 10x on that, and then roll into your post or post X? It's like, nah, I just rather spend my energy and my time focusing on how I can just continue to create more value, go out in the world, get some of that nasty fiat, and put it into assets that I know I can hold. Because like I told you, or I showed you on that Bitcoin chart, that yearly chart, if you hold stuff for not just one cycle, but even two, this is how you really do it. Like nothing beats the long-term strategy. No amount of little come ups or like that stuff is very small in the grand scheme of things. And we start to do that more and more, you tend to deviate from what the main goal is. So I like to keep the main goal the main goal. So for me, I literally do not care about anything going on with the beat hack in particular, or trying to DC into it. That's just my opinion. I know Richard Hart stuff works. The Pulse X and Pulse work. P Hex and Hex works. Don't need to know anything else outside of that. That should be bullish enough for you instead of leaning into trying to gamble. So I'm going on a rant, but is what it is. Let's go. Large and in charge. What to do? So I got a new setup. I'm hoping that we're appreciating the upgrade here, because I was like, you know what, I got to get rid of some of these issues as I kind of get acclimated to this new setup. Definitely, like I said, share the stream, leave a comment. Let's keep talking, because this is what it takes. Like these conversations over and over and over and over again, till you have so much belief in it that you're just like, all right, like I know what I need to do. I've thought about it to take action. No, I'm not thinking no more. I'm doing, because I can really understand what's going on. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Understanding is the first part of revelation, but then taking action. It's a beautiful thing. So with that being said, nice quick stream today. Definitely appreciate you guys as always. If y'all don't have any more comments, I think I'm going to go ahead and log off. I will be back. So I'll be back on Monday nights at 8:15 Central Standard Time. That is happening. So definitely look out. So put that bell icon on, so that way you can know when I'm coming on ahead of time. And let's keep on rocking, y'all. And you already know that, once we continue to just ball out there, make that fiat, we'll make it happen. Everything that's coming to us, we'll get every bit of it. So y'all be easy. Peace.